Hey guys, welcome back to Joe's RC Corner, and today we're going to be back on the Cricket. Today we have a few more things that we need to get done this weekend. So what we're going to be working on first and foremost, we need to clean up this hangar, man. We got a big mess, so we're going to do a quick time lapse of the cleaning. I know it's going to be kind of boring, so we'll make it a fast time lapse, but we need to clean this up. We need to get some things out of here for the inspection that we're going to be having for the airport. They do a yearly inspection of the airport hangars, make sure nobody's carrying stuff that they're not supposed to have in a hangar, and just make sure that the hangars are being used for the proper usage. So, and as you see, I am using it for the proper usage, and according to the information for the airport, this is tank is also allowed. We're allowed up to 110 gallons of fuel, not including the fuel that's in the plane. So this is fine. However, this is empty right now, so it's not a factor anyway. But we're going to try to get everything else cleaned up out here. We're going to put some stuff away, some spray paints and things like that. Put those away in proper areas per the rules of the hangar. Yeah, we'll get that all cleaned up, and then we'll be able to get back on the plane. And so stay tuned, guys, and when I get back, we'll discuss what we're going to try to accomplish today, okay? All right, so welcome back from the intro, and like I said, we're going to do some cleaning first. We're going to get that all taken care of today. First and foremost, clean up, get everything organized, because as you can see, my work area has become a huge mess. So I need to get all these put away, cleaned up, and straightened out so that we can start working again and know where everything is. So that's going to be my plan for today, is get all this kind of put away and straightened up. I mean, even some of my things have just fallen everywhere, and it's just in disrepair. It's actually harder to work out here right now because things are just everywhere. And we want to try to get as efficient as possible getting the Cricket ready. But once we get all that done, first things first, we're going to be taking this panel here off. I want to drill out a access hole about right here. We're going to put in the rib nuts, or not rib nuts, I'm sorry. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, the nut plates. We're going to put nut plates in there, and we're going to put another panel on top. So that way, once this is all riveted in place, I can still go in here, pull out this with a couple of screws, pop that off, and inspect my pulleys, make sure that I can service them without having to pull this whole piece off in the future. I want to be able to access that because I want to make sure nothing's rubbing, and if I have to drill these out every time, that's going to be a pain. And if I put screws on this, I could do that and then pull this off when I need to, but I just feel like the access panel would be a nice, easy option there. So that's the plan for that today. That's what we're going to work on. We're going to do a couple more trimmings back here as well to get this cleaned up, because we need this cleaned right here so that we can have up elevator. Right now, that's all I got, guys. So that's hidden right here on both sides. And I know other people have had that same issue, so it's a known situation there. So we'll get that fixed. We'll get that trimmed, and then this will be good to go. These are already set to the final hole size. I'm going to do some final cleaning up just to make this all the same height surface to the stab, which is going to work out just fine. Man, I like this tail lower, man. I can reach all of this now. Before, with the nose on the smaller leg, I couldn't reach any of this. I had to get my step stool out, but now I can reach it all really nice and easy here, so that's great. So I like having that tail a little bit lower. It looks pretty nice. So that's going to be today's task, is to finish up this, get this final and ready to go. right, guys, so welcome back to the cleanup. As you can see, it's much better. It's not perfect, but definitely better. And now we're able to start getting back to work on the Cricket. So, as I mentioned, we're going to be working on this on the skin here, and we're going to be working on trying to get this all cleaned up and kind of lined up a little bit better. We got a little bit of trimming to do here, and also right up on this edge on this side here, it's touching the skin here, so we need to go ahead and work that a little bit. We're going to put some of the supports in the skin here, so that way we can help support this area from being squeezed there. And then we're going to look at how we're going to finish this edge here, and of course this edge here. So I want to look at, I have some rubber sealant and stuff I'm thinking about putting right here. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to kind of fit it in here and try to make this area a little bit bigger, so that way that piece will fit in there very nicely, and that'll close off that gap there. So that's the plan on that side. And then we're also going to take the skin here and we're going to trim this up so I can get full up elevator. And that's going to be our task for today. That's pretty much all we're going to try to get done today. We'll be out here again tomorrow. I do have some vacation here coming, so I'm going to be taking some time off. We're going to be going to, with the family, going up to Albuquerque and Santa Fe. But then we'll be coming back and start right back to work on the Cricket. Try to get that all finished and buttoned up. I should have my fuel senders then from Viking, which means I can get that done. And then we can finish up the trailing edge skin and figuring out where that's going to be here, so I can go ahead and drill the holes for the fuel line and then try to get that all fished through underneath inside here and get it plumbed, feed that fuel line back to the header tank, and then that way the fuel lines are then ready to go. Now, we are not going to put any fuel in these fuel tanks for a little while here, so we'll probably once it's buttoned up, we'll go ahead and maybe leave this skin off and paint this separately. I know then I'll have rivets that are silver on the wing. I'm okay with that, because if I ever have to get in here, I want to be able to drill those out anyway, and they're not going to be painted, so what's the difference? So that's kind of the plan for that. So we're going to go ahead and finish up a little bit there. But yeah, so what we're going to work on is here. So let's get to work, guys. We'll set up a time lapse and start working. Okay, guys, so I don't know if you've been noticing in the time lapse, what we're doing right here is we're adding nut plates to the back of the dorsal fin here, because I'm making a access panel so that when this is on the aircraft, I can pull that off and I can inspect my pulleys for my elevator, because I don't want to have to pull this off every time I want to do that. So a couple screws, but as you can see, we're working our way around. And what we're doing is we are making these as flush as possible. I'm using the 3/32 rivets here, and I have a manual die here that you use with a rivet, with your hand riveter right here. And what that does is it just puts a nice little dimple in there. It's got two pieces here like this. So you have your bottom one that goes on the back side, and then you have a piece here, and I'm not sure if it'll focus, but there's a little dimple right there, and then that gets pulled with your rivet with the skin between it, and the skin will go in between here, and when this gets pulled, it puts a nice little dimple, so you can have a not perfectly flush, but a flusher rivet in there without getting those fancy squeeze in rivets there. So that does the job for what I need. It's gonna sit fairly flush, so you won't really notice those. And I think that works out really good. It's a nice cheap alternate to getting a big squeezer for doing all of them. Now it would have been faster with the squeezer, but you know, this, I don't have to do many, so this works out nice to finish the job. So we're gonna go ahead and finish up these last two here, and then I'll show you how this works. So we'll set up the camera so you can see. Okay, so right now we have one in here already. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the other nut plate here, and we're gonna go ahead and line this one up. And how I do it, and I'm sure there's other ways of doing this, but I take one of the screws here that fits in it, and I line that hole up and just do a couple of threads on there just to keep it centered, right? And then we flip it over like this, and align it up so that the screw is in the middle of that hole. Take my marker and I'll mark my first hole. And this seems to work pretty well for me. Again, like I said, there's other ways of doing it. I'll drill that first hole there that I marked. Okay. Then I'll go ahead and I'll grab a cleco. We'll cleco that in. Okay, so now we want to make sure that this is still centered. And then we'll mark the second hole like this. And then we'll pull this off. And we'll drill that last hole. And that's right here. Okay, like so. Now we're going to go ahead and take the dimpler here, and we're going to dimple this. So we're going to feed this one through here. Sometimes you got to open the hole from the burrs here. Okay. Go ahead and feed that through. Take the other half, put it on this side. Take your hand riveter and squeeze that flat, release it. There you go, you got a nice little dimpled hole. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this one and this one over here, and then this is all done. Now to clean up those holes after doing that, I just go ahead and just run my deburr on the inside and outside here. Same with the main screw holes for this. Go ahead and get that done as well. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put the nut plates on the back there. So we grab, and I like to put the cleco from the back side so that way I can get my riveter in there a little bit easier. Got a couple of rivets here. Okay, all right, so now as you can see, guys, we have a nut plate for an access panel on the dorsal, and they're all flush mounted, riveted, and we're good to go there. So now I have my panel that goes on the outside. I just need to drill these holes big enough for the screws, and we'll be able to screw that on and call her done. Then we'll start working on finishing fitting that side. This side I did a little bit more. I need to just do a little bit more on here, and then we'll open everything up to the final hole size on it, and then we'll take the stab off here, and I'm going to draw my line on this too, so I have a reference line to cut that, and we'll cut that up and move on. All right, so that's where we are. Let's get back to work, guys. Anywho, here's what we got going on here now, guys. We got a little inspection going on here while I'm at it, but as you can see, we have the panel is on for the dorsal. I do still have to add the piece down here, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to do that, because I do want to run this rubber trim here along this bottom edge too, because that'll just clean up that edge nicely and it'll look really nice. It'll, you know, this stuff right along in here. So that'll just clean that up and make that look pretty good. Yes, I could have gone with a smaller panel, guys. I do realize that, but this is the size hole saws that I had going around, so went ahead and just used that, and came out pretty good, if you ask me. Once that's painted, it'll barely be seen. But then we're going to use this rubber trim as well right up along here and around this edge, just to you know, clean that up just a little bit right around that edge. I got it on this side too, looking pretty nice and snazzy there. Do have to open these holes up to final hole size and get those ready for riveting, but we're not going to rivet any of this on yet because we still have to pull this off. And as you can see, I got this taped off and marked, so that's where I need to trim. That's the amount I need to trim off to get the up elevator without it, you know, banging into the vertical stab there. So we're going to work on that probably tomorrow. Let's see. So I'll also be working on the piece along here on both sides and figuring out how we're going to work that, get that done. Let's see. That's pretty much all we got done today. That was quite a bit of work, especially doing all these riv nuts, not riv nuts, but the nut plates behind here. Definitely takes a little bit of time to get those in, especially if you want to flush mount it and get those rivets nice and flat against the surface. So that's where we are on the dorsal fin. I'm happy with the way that fits so far. There are some, you know, this area here is kind of iffy in regards to how it's trimmed, but we're going to clean that up. And then of course I want to put some of this stuff on there as well to clean that up. So we'll see how that works out. We see if we can get that on there, and we'll get the other part in here for the to support this section here on the fuselage, against the fuselage. So that's the next steps. Someone was asking also online about the distance. I'm going to put the picture online or on the video here, but we got about 9 inches of clearance now, so pretty nice. I'm liking that. And also someone mentioned about putting the nuts on this side, and I don't disagree with you. This is how the plans have it. I had them the other way originally, and I might swap them back that direction myself again, because I do agree I don't like these nuts being that close to the wheel. So if anything, like you said, a stone or something, you're gonna have a really bad day if it gets jammed in there. But let me know, guys, what do you think? Have you guys seen any issues with it like this? If anyone else has had it like that, is there any other issues there? Anyone else have had an issue that has built their airplane, and what direction you guys have that nut and the bolt? So but as of right now, it's fine for this. It's the way it's supposed to be per the book, so we'll leave it for right now, but we can always fix that later. Okay, other than that, that's where we are, guys. Tomorrow we're gonna come back out here, and we're gonna finish up this section here, and we'll try to get that done and pull the stab off and get that trimmed up on the table. And then the tail is pretty much done besides rigging, so we'll work on that another time. So then what I'm planning on doing once I finish that is we're going to move over to the wings, back to the wings, guys, and we're going to finish up getting this, getting the trailing edge lined up, trimmed up, and up against here. So that way I can trace out where my fuel lines can go, get those nipples put in, and that way I can start working on hooking up all my plumbing for the fuel tank from the inside the fuel system, or inside the fuselage, get that down into the header tank in there. Once that's done, then we can start going back up here, because I believe my part for the fuel tanks should be coming in soon, so I'll be able to start working on getting my fuel tanks mounted in here, and then get the plumbing all set up and situated so I can get my fuel lines out. And I'm trying to figure out, guys, still where you guys are running your fuel lines out and getting into this area. Did you guys just drill a hole somewhere in here just to have that fuel line come through? Is there a recommended better spot? These little holes didn't bug me, but if I'm putting a big enough hole for a fuel line to come through, and I know there's a hole here for that, but I can't get both my fuel lines through that. So what did you guys do? Give me some help here. Put it in the comments how you did it. Did it come out on this side and then go down? Or did you come out on this side? And just give me some help, guys. Give me some help. Let me know what you guys did, and I'm gonna probably copy fairly closely. I've even thought about just going through the rib and just having the fuel lines go in over here, and then curl back and into this area. But I would prefer to have it just go straight in right here where everybody else is. So let me know what you guys did, and I'll probably copy it. I want to make sure that I'm doing something safe. I don't want to start drilling holes in the doubler at where the rear spar is if I don't need to, if that makes sense. So other than that, guys, that's where I'm at for today. I'm pretty much done for the day. I'm gonna head home, finish cleaning up my mess from today, and then we'll head out and be back here again tomorrow and do a little bit more work. So all right, guys, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like the video if you like what you're seeing, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.